Hi everyone, thank you so much for your patience. We have a competitive ruling from Riot, so let me read what they have said. During the VCT Game Changer Series 3 match between Newt and Complexity, Riot Anti-Cheat confirmed competitive integrity was compromised by Newt. Per Game Changer's rules and regulations, teams who have been found violating the competitive integrity of a match will receive a match forfeit. Riot Competitive Operations will launch a full investigation. So thank you again, everyone, for your patience. Please stay tuned. We're going to continue with our next and final match of Wingman Patrol versus Evil Geniuses. Thank you again. We'll see you after the break.
I feel like KO personally, like on my own experience of agents, is difficult just because of you have to learn a lot of setups for him and also be fighting up at the same time. So it creates kind of like the separation on like how you want to actually play with him, because he's a second entry really, so it can get a little clunky at times, and so I feel like there is a high skill gap with him.
Mechanic wise, maybe Neon. I think Neon and Yuri are up there just because they have like they have so much utility. There's so many options that you can use with them. Neon, especially because it's like so much movement. I'm like not used to that at all. Valorant's like my first FPS. Like if you came from Apex or something, you might like find it easier to play Neon. But for me, like I come from that's like my first game, right? Like CS, it's like super hard to slide, like shoot, and then like you can even backslide. All these mechanics, it's just like super complicated. So Neon.
You know, I don't really touch smokes enough. But I would say, for me personally, Omen is kind of difficult because, yes, he is one of the strongest flashes in the game, but I feel like sometimes with Omen players, they have to make a play. Even though they're playing smokes, sometimes it's necessary, and I can't figure out when that time is and the proper place to TP so that you know, you're not overexposed and you win the gunfights.
I believe that Yoru has the hardest mechanics to master. There's just endless possibilities on what you can do with this kit, and there's just so much of the thought process behind all of the utility.
I think the agent with the hardest mechanics to master, definitely like something along the lines of Raze and KO. Like the Raze satchels, like if you're really good with the movement, you can be like insane and just own everyone. And then KO with like the flashes, like if you can throw a perfect flash every single time, like the round's over.
Sova, because I don't play a lot of Sova. I haven't played a lot of Sova, but everyone knows where you are when you use his drone or his dart, and if you miss a dart, then you know you missed the dart. You don't ping people. Or you can get caught off guard with your dart out or shock darts out.
I feel like the easiest answer is Yoru, just because of like what he does, how complicated his kit is, and how hard it is to get consistent value. But I also think that like the hardest agent to actually like play, like in a pro setting, is probably KO. I think like the like util timings, the info timings, and the positioning on KO is something that's like super important and really easy to mess up. And really hard to master, and it's like something that like the really good KO players, like the really good initiator players, like you think of like Ethan on EG, and like you think about how people praise him and how good he is, and it's not like he's putting up like crazy stat lines every game. It's because you see what he does for his team, you see his positioning, like this guy is always in the right spot, and I think that is incredibly difficult to master.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Game Changers. We have our final match of the day. My analysts are back and we're all fueled up, ready to go. It's Wingman Patrol versus Evil Geniuses. This is gonna be such a good match. Wingman Patrol rose through the open qualifiers, made a splash through the closed qualifiers, and are at the main event for their first time as a roster. The former XSET players, you know, trying to carve their way in history to make that world championship stage, but up against them is greatness in a name. It's Evil Geniuses, a team floating but hoping to rise to the peak of mountains of competition. But Dryad, looking at the big names on the Evil Genius roster from different backgrounds, experiences, the big story for them is how are they going to propel from a top 16 to a top 3? How do they do that?
Yeah, like you said, Lemon, this is a team that we've seen constantly make it to the top 6, but really struggling to make it further in the tournament, top 4, top 3, at least this year. And they absolutely have the potential to do so, right? When you look at the roster, when you look at the individual players, they've been in the scene for quite some time, and they've been always having those highlight reels that every single game changers that we get to talk about. So the potential is there, but that is a question. What has the work looked like in the little off season that they had before the Series 3, the most important one of them all, to see if they can push further?
Obviously, this team realized that things weren't working out for them previously, and they made some changes to the roster as well. And I do feel like we're seeing them play at a little bit of a higher level than maybe we've gotten from them in the past, even though they haven't had as much time to make that all come together and work perfectly. In the past, things just sort of felt a little clumsy. Like it wasn't quite there yet. So they kept the core and they made some changes, and I think that's going to be pivotal for them to potentially make it a little bit further in this event. They have to win. If they want to go to Brazil, they have to win.
Well, you could be a little clumsy, but that's why we have the double elimination bracket. Last chance for both these teams to make it in. And now to highlight Wingman Patrol, because hey, although they're this unsigned team, anyone who's been paying attention to this roster knows that they could have the potential to beat a big team like EG. Bach, Wingman Patrol defeated Complexity. Was that enough to convince you that they have the capacity to defeat this team?
I think it's important to recognize this team for what they are. This is not a pug roster or a team that has never been into an event like this before. This is the XSET core with some rejoining members and a new one joining the mix as well. You've got Avery in the fold coming in from the Valaris roster, as well as previous teams like Dart Monkeys for a little bit. And you've got Starry Bun, who's returning to join Bunnybee, a former teammate when they played on XSET together, who has spent a couple of months playing with those pug teams, not playing with a solid roster, kind of playing with one or two players consistently, but the team keeps changing with surrounding pieces and not finding much success. Actually spending some time on broadcast with us, which was kind of cool. We got to hear from her during a couple different events. So now we see Starry returning to competition, and we see this core of this XSET team coming into the fold. They are no slouches. They are not a team who is obscure. They know how to play in an event like this, and they are definitely a team that can best a team like EG.
Yeah, and this is one of those teams that I mentioned yesterday. You hear the name and you might think, I don't really recognize this team. Is this a new team? But then you look at the players and you're like, okay, I see where the experience comes from. I see why they've been having that success, because of that experience that they have in the past and the individual players that we've known, especially since last year. And I know Baki mentioned a couple of them, but I think Starryban coming back on this roster, and I feel like this is one of the players that we can talk about and we can look into a lot more, as she had some experience in previous teams, played for Exit a little bit, and also has some IGLing experience that brought to the table today, gives them a good opportunity to beat EG.
Well, for anyone who doesn't know what Wingman Patrol is all about, we have a video to introduce you to them. So let's meet the team.
Hi, I'm Rise. I'm controller for Wingman Patrol.
Hi, my name is Starryvan. I am on Wingman Patrol and I am the Sentinel main for the team. Rise is our main controller on our team, and I feel like she brings a very calming presence to our team, but not only that, she's a very strong mid-rounder for our team. She's able to kind of control the pace of our team, because sometimes I feel like there's just so much going on and the game can get so chaotic, but she's such a strong voice in the round to like kind of bring everyone together and reset the round for all of us. And I think she's really pivotal in why we win those rounds. And then we have Soto. Soto is just our firepower. Like, they are just so good at aiming and hitting the one taps. They're so consistent. Like, we can always rely on them to always get their 2Ks and 3Ks when like going into a site. And then we we have Bunny B. Bunny B is the duelist for our team, and Bunny B is just that explosive, dynamic duelist that just creates so much space for our team. Whenever we feel like we're kind of backed into a corner, we don't have as much map control, Bunny B is always there to kind of like break that barrier for us. And then we have Avery. I feel like Avery is also a very calming presence on our team. We have very loud, explosive, dynamic people on our team, and Avery is the one that can kind of bring us down, a very more calming voice. Avery is also very good for clutches.
Honestly, the biggest change wasn't like going from organization to FA. It was honestly just losing 2 players like in a very built team. We had like 2 weeks, I think, to like prepare with Starry and Avery, because obviously Soto, Bunny, and I had like experience before. So just getting like our chemistry together was the challenge more than like going from organization to being FA, I think.
I don't think going from an org to a free agent has affected our team at all. I think if anything, it kind of gives our team a little bit more edge, because we're kind of like the underdogs. We're kind of like the unknown factor. Like now that we're kind of like a free agent, we don't really have much to lose, but we have everything to prove.
Heading into main event, honestly, we're super excited to have made it. We do have like a bunch of like little mistakes we have to fix. Obviously, we had like a sort of a challenge during our qualifications, but we're planning on fixing those up for the main event, and we're honestly like super excited to just do our best and have fun.
Heading into main event, our team is feeling great. I think because we don't really have like those high expectations of being on a signed org, we're kind of more free and loose, and I feel like we are more trusting in our decisions, and we just don't have like that pressure on our shoulders. So I feel like we're performing really great. Our team is really in sync. Our comms are really good. I think we come really prepared.
I think teams should watch out for us because we're kind of like the underdog team. I think people will underestimate us, so they should watch out for us for that.
I think other teams should watch out for us because, like I said, we're like unsigned free agent team. We have really nothing to lose, and we're definitely gonna bring it, and we're gonna push teams to the edge. And the thing is, like, we've all been playing each other for so long, and all these teams have had, you know, like their core rosters, or they've been having the same rosters throughout the year, but we're kind of new, we're unpredictable, and I feel like that'll give us a little bit of edge to kind of push teams over.
Keep supporting Wingman Patrol, or we're gonna make it to finals.
Thank you to everyone who supports not only us, but the whole Game Changer scene in general. I feel like everyone who supports us and continue to watch our matches, you know, you guys are all amazing, and we're really excited to play Game Changers. And if any orgs are looking for a team to represent, Wingman Patrol is here, so.
I love the plug at the end. Yeah, if anyone needs a team, you know, sign us up. You know, orgs, if you're watching, if you like what you see, well, the contracts are available. And then just like through all the challenges that this team has been through, they've overcome so much, and they seem so motivated to prove themselves even without that banner. But Bach, a lot of weight rests on the shoulders of these duelists, the ones that have to make entry, that really find those first bloods to make a splash in these fights. And we're looking at Keency versus Bunny B as the matchup to watch.
One of the things that this EG roster in the past has potentially struggled with a little bit is really strong opposing duelists, which means you gotta keep your eyes on Bunny B if Bunny B can activate. If Bunny B goes live and manages to get off to an early start, it could actually be punishing for the side of EG. They need to contain the duelist. If you look at the matches they played in the past, Emmy and FaZe was one of their kryptonites. Sonder at multiple points has been seriously devastating for them to play against. If they can keep the duelist under control on the side of EG, that is a serious win con here. And Keency, no stranger to having strong games, definitely capable of kind of facilitating that role in the prevent defense, as we'll call it.
This is one of the most exciting duels for me in Game Changers, because we always see Keensley, we always see Bunny B getting some insane frags and always being at the top of those stats. So now they get to face each other, and they really bring what the team needs to get those enters in, to get that space, to get that confidence to go in as well once either Keensley or Bunny B starts getting those first picks. And I feel like we're going to see a lot of those coming from these two.
Just so excited for this match. Yeah, Keency looks good in the stats, but we got to figure out what happens on the field and on the pitch first. But, you know, Evil Geniuses deserve more love, and one player in particular, Dryad, is Lori, who just brings that championship level experience. We were talking earlier about what is going to propel Evil Geniuses from top 6 to top 3, and maybe we're looking at Lori to be that.
Lori has to be absolutely that. We've seen Lori last year playing under a different squad, but also constantly, as you see, making it to the grand finals, having even international experience in Game Changers, and that's something that not a lot of people can talk about. Not a lot of people have that experience under their belt, and I love that Lori went from this kind of newer, kind of quieter player in Shopify Rebellion, as we got to see last year, to now being part of Evil Geniuses and being this player that brings the experience, that is playing other roles that we never saw Lori playing before, and really bringing exactly what it's going to take for Evil Geniuses to make it further than that top 6.
You see a lot of seconds in this graphic, but it's important to note the one that was maybe the most important was the one in Berlin. Lori was one map away from being a world champion last year. So that kind of illustrates the pedigree that Lori brings. You cannot emphasize enough how important that is to have a player like that on your roster when you're trying to right the ship. EG has had those middling results in previous GCs. Now they have someone like that on the team who can help direct them potentially towards success.
Hey, she's second place there, but first place in our hearts. And with this kind of roster, I think, you know, championship could be in their sights. But up against them is Wingman Patrol. Let's go to map selection to see what games we're going to get today. They've already done their picks and bans while we're vamping away. So Haven was picked by Evil Geniuses, Ascent by Wingman Patrol, and our decider will be Lotus Triad, with Wingman Patrol picking Haven. EG are 0-2 in their last 2 matches on this map against DSG and Shopify whatnot. Are we worried?
I think this first map is actually going to be the real test of how close these two teams really are, because last time we got to see Haven from Wingman Patrol, it was against version 1. It was a 3-13, but it was version 1, right, that you're facing against. Once they face those other teams that they had to play against in the Open Qualifier, it was a lot more one-sided, going the way of Wingman Patrol. So now this is the real test, right? When you're facing teams that should be at your level, does it go overtime, or do you really get to show kind of the strength of your Haven, your Ascent, and your Lotus?
And Bach, EG chose Ascent. Wingman Patrol had this kind of narrow 13-10 loss against Complexity, so seems to be a strong result against a strong team.
Yeah, it's an interesting map for both teams, because I don't think either one has really shown like raw success. We saw the close loss against Complexity 13 to 10. On the flip side, EG, they only played it once during Series 3 during the closed qualifier, and it was a close loss as well to a slightly stronger opponent in Shopify Rebellion 14-16. So it is a little bit odd that's actually the map we end up on. I thought we would go different places, that Breeze would manage to sneak its way into the pool, but that's not where we're going to go. And we're going to end up on a map that you see a lot of teams kind of stick to more vanilla compositions. It's not necessarily to say that there's a one-size-fits-all, but there are a lot of teams who tend to stick with a certain comp. And I would say that that's definitely more EG with the setup that they're running here. They're going double initiator. They've got the Jet Duelist and a KJ. On the flip side, you've got Wingman Patrol rocking Raze as the lone duelist with a double initiator look. Somewhat interesting to see. That's not something a lot of teams typically do on a map like Haven.
And another point to talk about as well with these two duelists, we had a head-to-head about them, right? Bunny B and Kinsey, but there's going to be a clear difference with these duelists on this map of Haven. A lot of teams have been experimenting with maybe bringing another duelist, right? After the Jet changes, is it worth it, right? But we've seen still some teams that are really good at that Jet play still bring it and have success in it, and that's why it makes so much sense to keep Kinsey on this role of Jet. And on the other side, Bunny B, I mean, if we know Bunny B for something, it's gotta be the Raze. Always being the difference maker with the Raze, and I'm excited to see that kind of explosive play against a Jet that is gonna have to adapt around it.
Yes, I'm excited to get into this along with the Lori versus Soto initiator matchup on Sova. It's all going to go down in this next best of three. A reminder that the loser of this match is out of the tournament. No chance of going to the World Championship. The season ends here. I believe our game is almost ready to go. So I guess I will send it over to Vancillion and Potter to bring us through the game.
Thank you so much, Levin, Kiwi, Dan, Tried, and Bach. Indeed, we're getting ready to start this game. And yeah, after a little bit of a break, I'm ready to start things off here, Christine. It's going to be a very good one here because, as Bach mentioned, we're going to have basically some vanilla comps or maybe even a vanilla series between these two teams because they're not going to play, in my eyes, any type of like wacky compositions. So it's really going to come down to that type of gameplay, the objective base that you like to talk about, and how these teams are going to work each other around these maps. Starting things off, though, it's Haven.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And although it might be vanilla, this series itself certainly not vanilla. As the desk pointed out, both squads certainly in a do or die situation. Both squads absolutely have to win here. But as Starry Bun said in her interview, I mean, the pressure is absolutely on EG here. Although both squads have two new players coming in, it's EG that the pressure's on.
Agreed. With new IGL calling from Thea, with Wingman Patrol coming in now, fresh off the gates with these new players. They're still great players, though. Keep an eye on how Soto's going to play this guy and how Soto's going to play in general as the Bears now come up between these two teams. Do or die as the series starts between Wingman Patrol and EG, as EG on the attacker side are looking for a slow start towards this garage.
Yeah, and a little bit of misdirection to start as well. You saw that Lori starting off kind of blocking that A main control, but a fast garage split to start. Keensy's already dashed in.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter what happened with the Nurse and the Jet. You could still cloud burst in these areas on Haven with these changes. Aftershock to push now. The defender's back, and Power Pixel still trying to push forward. Nice shock darts are coming through, though, and 2 kills now ring in for a Wingman Patrol. So disadvantage for the post line. Nice shot, though, from Kinsey. And a second. Oh, the third falls as well. And the tides have turned back in the advantage of EG, pushing forward, leaving only one alive. It's Starry Bun at a disadvantage, even pinged out by the recon dart. Walking up now, the triple swing. Oh man, that is just pure strat book coming out with that triple swing for EG with the pistol.
Pure strat book for sure. And I mean, again, the misdirection, right? But Dryad was talking about it on the desk. Kinsey on this Jet. So damn capable. Starting off with that quick entry and that strat book you talked about, Bands, but this is not strats. This is all Kinsey, steady as can be, just a one taps coming through. And you saw the discipline mixed up in there with the mechanics as well, staying tucked that whole time, understanding the post plan. So you gotta love it. Strong start coming out here for EG. This should be a pretty standard anti-eco. You can see just 2 upgraded pistols on the board for WPT. EG, objective control, is going for that orb. Kinsey, they're feeling hungry. You can see if you're buying a Marshall on the second round of the attack side, you wanna find yourself some duels. And so they're leaving Kinsey inserted long C and just saying, hey, I dare you to peek me.
Yeah, and I love it. As they're doing that too. Rise went for the jumping, sees him twice. So that's anchoring all of Wingman Patrol still towards his BC link. So it's a perfect fit right now for the rest of EG to now scale up towards the A side, finally spotted by Starry Bun, and the shift comes in, but the opportunity still allows for EG to get into a 4 versus 2 site on A.
A lot of good utility coming out to give space, but the timing was a little bit off. That's a good trade. This dart Ooh, that's a lot of damage, Vans.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot of damage indeed. And also the information that allows for WPT to swing out the way that they did and to do not only 2 kills, but damaging some armor in the process. It's going to make things a little bit more expensive, of course, for EG in this 3rd round. And as we're looking at this buy, the bonus is not going to be as strong compared to finally the gun round coming in from Wingman Patrol.
Sure. As I'm coming into this round, Vans, I'm reminding all of my teammates, hey, can we be on dart duty, please? And just reminding what the protocols are, which number player is responsible for that. But I mean, that many pings certainly can be a little bit nerve-wracking. Nice TP for Thea. That sound cue is going to push Soto off the edge. Bunnybee's under a lot of pressure. Love the fact that they're deciding to hold onto that pain shells. And that's a strong defense here. Pretty soon, Sky's going to have that bird refreshed. They're going to be able to find out whether anyone's working towards that area or not. That dart just coming up on that mini-map. That's so much info for Rise. Still holding on to the paranoia.
About to unleash it. Recon Dart comes in, takes the responsibility to break that at the same time, allowing Starbun to set up for the crossfire. Paranoia comes back on the attack. Starbun in the back of the site, now playing it solo as she lost her teammate. Falling back, taken down by the Odin, pushing forward. Rise and another one on a retake. Looks so good for Wingman Patrol.
Yeah, so good, Vans. I mean, and when we saw it exactly happening as it should, Rise pushing down Long C because there was so much pressure towards that A main. Found the info, found so much map control, just pops a little bit of damage, falls back towards Long C. That long corridor with that paranoia completely optimized. So that stopping power coming into play and the teammates just flooding in. Textbook as can be, and that's what you want to see on a bonus round just like that.
Watching each other's backs too. When Rise fell away, Neighbor was there. They're able to do the bait and switch and helping each other out with the guns. That was perfect. Now, putting EG in, of course, a gun round that they have, their bonus had no value. So this is an opportunity once again, this time for Wingman Patrol to really break the economy. They could get a successful round here. And it starts with aggression, a flash with a peek, 2 kills for Soto, make that even 3 with the combination of Bunnybee, and only 1 here for EG.
Such a strong adjustment there with the crossfire. And the crosshairs. Beautiful utility. And at this point, EG, they've just got to slow the round down. They've got to be able to do some damage, waste some time. Let the paranoia start creeping into the minds of WPT. But he has got a lot of ground if she gets to sniffing here. If she finds that info, that spike should go down.
Yeah. You know, when it's in the hands of Thea and Starbound being one of the latest addition here to roster of EG back in the Valaris days, and big shout out to Valaris too, one of those unsigned teams that has players that's been joining great roster so far throughout the GCs. We've seen a situation where Starbound can turn it around back in favor of EG. So the plant comes down, as you mentioned, Christine, and then we also have an alarm bot watching the flank.
Yeah, and Thea still got the paranoia in her back pocket. You can bet she's going to pop that off that turret's contact. Decent crossfire coming out here for EG, and for WPT, they just want to be a little bit more patient. As you can see, Rise is on the flank, wants to find a little bit more info. A lot of damage coming through. Starbun's just going for it.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Thea, an opportunity, just trying to get that one way to work. And as soon as she was about to go for the shot, the smoke disappeared. It made things a little bit more difficult there for the last 2 players to reposition in. WPT ended up having a great retake in the end, not losing any players in the process.
Yeah, cool, calm, collected. Just the patience shining through. Rise always had the back lines covered. Love to see it. 2 rounds now stabilized, and that was a pretty dominant round win for WPT, I gotta say. And the differences in both duelists especially is going to shine through here for WPT. The raise on the defense can do just so much damage. 1 orb away from the showstopper. And in tandem with that paint shell, just any choke point, Bunnybee is going to munch it up.
And the game plan too for WPT is just to try to look for those kills instead of focusing on an orb towards long A, trying to see if EG is going to split towards the A side instead. Trying to push towards Garage, and it's delayed a bit by Starbun's Nanoswarm.
Love this hold from Starry. Beautiful trading of Muto. I mean, a drone for Molly. You take that all day if you're Starry Bun. Nice one way to come through as well to assist, and Avery's just gonna get so much info here.
That's 3 people.
All those, all those little 1Ds that EG wanted to find here. WPT, they're responding well. Very disciplined round, and you see the long line of sight that Bunny Bee's maintaining. And as I said, a full stack of util. Paint shell still in the back pocket.
And picked up the orb. That's a nice little tap to be able to get away. Because you mentioned those Sheriffs, those one-tap opportunities for EG. That was 5 players that was about to line up against Bunny Bee right there. And Showstopper comes out right in the corner on the feet of Kinsey. Great value out of that one, forcing EG to fall back towards the C site where once again Rise is pushed all the way up.
And you know what? Why not, right? Why not? It can be a waste on an anti-eco, but as dicey as anti-ecos can get, and you can tell Bunny Bee wants to farm that A main orb, being that she's got that paint shell in her back pocket, so she feels good. She feels good that she's going to be able to farm those orbs, get as many raid goals as possible. So I like it. Send a message early, Bunny Bee. Send that message early.
Yeah, and even there, at least it was an attempt of good util. They had the nice flash towards the back of the site for EG to almost get that plant down, but keeping Rise pushed up to get that backstab. That was one stone that wasn't turned. That was unfortunate there for EG, and that already forces out a timeout for them to figure out what they can do now that their money's right. They're still a couple of orbs away from getting ultimates available here on the attack. They have to figure out your WPT's late round pushes that Rise has been doing towards the C-Long.
Yeah, and I think for EG, they're certainly talking about the fact that they wasted a lot of time and util towards that garage last couple rounds. They didn't get that space. They didn't get any map control off of that. So probably talking about some sort of control. They've either got to get A main or they've got to get garage. One or the other. And with Bunny Bee starting at A and again having that paint shell in the back pocket, it becomes pretty tough taking A main fast. So we'll see if they start off this round investing a dash of some sort early, or investing that TP early to be able to get past that paint shell and get that aim in control, or whether they fix that garage here in this round.
And all those questions being slowly answered as we were seeing the setup from EG. Looking up at this pressure towards this A side with this breach and jet, so there's a potential for a jet dash down towards the sewers, but for the rest of the team to still hold a default, to be aware of these pushes coming out from Rise potentially.
Now you see, Keen C's just gonna try to hop, skip, jump, get past, and that dart doesn't get broken. Huge info. Just trying to sniff out that push. Once again, that same garage control coming through. We'll see how Starry Bun reacts. Already though, that volley that she used last time around has been burned early.
Yeah. Thankfully the turret's still there. She still has her weapon to break out at least the owl drone and even get that first kill. That allows your Rise to get into position, missing the first off shot, cannot reload on time as the crosshair was right there onto Lori's chest. But EG still manages to get inside the site. One kill, op picked up, looking back towards the spawn, delayed from Molly's on the attack. And a disadvantage for WPT.
Yeah, Bunny Bee hearing a lot of sound cues coming through. They should have a pretty decent idea that attackers have fallen fully back. Just gonna sniff around a little bit and see if they can find a potential pick, but already in the back of the minds, wondering if they should be saving here or not. Oh, that was a wide attempt.
And that's even Kinsey with those 2 kills. I could see it though, the idea behind Wingman Patrol. They have the economy to work with within the next round. The paint shells could have gone deep to do some damage. It almost pretty much looked like it was the round guaranteed for EG because you also didn't have smokes to try to go back for the retake in the site. So you're trying to do that damage on the defense, doesn't work out, and now we have an opportunity to see an op versus op for both duelists.
Yeah, and you can see that Bunny Bee's towards long A this time. Last round, she was towards that short A.
Yeah.
See if she invests a satchel of some sort to try to get that pounce. It's like just dodging that the fault line, but that gives the edge to Keen C.
Everything's
Soto
so well read.
Finds that timing to try to find a mid push, but
might even run out against the owl drone. Stays behind instead, so Soto's gonna fall back, a double swing moving forward into the window. But still, Soto has some backup. That's Avery with an Odin watching grass, so that Soto can focus in the window. Stayed a little bit too long. Over welcome stayed. And they get punished for it. So disadvantage for Wingman Patrol, falling behind by 2 with a minute left on the clock, and EG's looking to shift back towards the A site.
Yeah, as they regroup. I mean, Soto, you got to feel for them, right? They felt like because Bunny B got picked off so early, they needed to make a play, stands their ground.
Yeah.
Just falls short on that shot, but Rise with the hero opportunity. Lori with the quick trade, though.
If it wasn't for that dash, that was potentially a 3 versus 3 instantly in. This time around, an Odin, no ultimates for the defense. Would probably be a great opportunity for them to save over here, but Avery was still trying to do a little bit of chip damage with the shock darts within the site. And you can definitely see it now. The save coming out from the defenders, and EG, they take the lead on the attack, but this might still continue the same storylines of all these games we've been casting, Potter, where it's going back and forth. We might be here for a very long and good series.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, certainly, especially with the fact that it's Haven, but also with the fact that, you know, the desk touched on it. Both these squads certainly very comfortable with this map. If it's not EG picking it, it's been WT picking it in their series as well. So both squads absolutely feeling confident on this one. And we'll see if there's any adjustments on the defense here. We've been talking about the fact that Bunny B's been starting A. You can see that Avery's 1 off the Hunter's Fury here. That will certainly help in this round. 1 off Starry Bun, 1 off Sky ult as well. So a lot of different creative ways that WPT can come into this round and try to get some ult orbs collected here. Because EG, they've got 4 of them to work with in this round.
Yeah. And with the attack this time around for EG, your condition is same thing, so the fault line and a recon dart towards the A site, this time without Bunny B. So you're trying to keep those players on the defense back and anchored towards the A site. But you can definitely tell here, the long game is trying to see if Rai is going to push down and get punished early by the Opera's position of Kinsey. As they know going in against a lower buy, they just want to default, holding back towards the spawn still to wait for these potential aggressive pushes.
And Rise got the stinger in her back pocket towards that long C. Not a lot of optimal duels that she can find for herself. We'll see if she's able to actually react. Oh, that was so close. Kinsey loves those kinds of shots.
Oh, yeah.
You can see that they're feeling a lot more confident as well. Understands that the anchor in this site is shook. Finds a lot of ground. That's
a wall bang.
Those pings are not good.
Yeah, that's a wall bang right there. So it's been the demise of EG a couple of rounds ago when he had WPT on the defense and flooding with pistols. This time around, the advantage for EG with the recon dart not being shot, but at least Rai still has support from Starbun towards the C side, but the pivot goes back towards A.
And this can be dangerous. 30 seconds on the clock now. Bunny B the raise now towards A. 3 members. This ultimate certainly should help with the info, but they've got to commit here.
Oh. So to play the off angle down towards the sewers to avoid the rolling thunder. Even at the top, jumping around. Kinsey trying to land that second one, but we dodge away. There's that backside from Bunny B. Recon dart still getting pinged out. 7 seconds left on the clock. Advantage still comes out for the attackers. Another player falls from a nice shot from Kinsey. And that's Avery now in a 3 versus 1. Odin still in their hands. No kills to come out, so no Hunter's Fury. And you can definitely see it stays calm for a bit. Hinging that there's going to be a push somehow from spawn, but as they re-peek out towards the window, Theo is waiting for them. And that's EG with a nice little take in the late shift back towards A.
Yeah, nice little take for sure off the back of Keen C's updraft. My goodness. I mean, EG are definitely, they're definitely lucky that Keen C had knives available to pop there and be able to updraft and just dance around on top of the back boxes there with that high ground, because as we talked about, WPT, they had everything they needed to stop that onslaught coming onto that site. So, whew, things got a little dicey, but for EG, you know, they're feeling still pretty good, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they felt pretty controlled towards that long C. The time in the round got a little bit out of control for them, but that's okay. That's just how these anti-ecos go sometimes.
Yeah. And even looking at WPTs and what's been going well for them throughout the beginning of this half is really trying to fight those early rounds into the mid rounds. But when you actually see the hit coming out from EG, there's been a few times where these players have been caught off guard, which then makes it a lot more difficult for those that have to rotate back over to support and try to go for the retake to not have that extra piece of utility that might be needed. We're talking about a huge paranoia still in the hands of Rise, for example, that we didn't have a chance to use too many times. And maybe that timeout is for them to really bring those protocols out. Give up the site if you have to. You also have 4 ults to work with this time around for the defense too. We're going for
see how they use it here. Yeah, we'll see if WPT can go back to what was working for them before. Rise trying to sniff around and trying to see how much space she can actually get. She's got an inkling because A main is so quiet. You can see that she reacts immediately going back towards backside. And eventually here, with the map being as quiet as it is, the C hit should be a lot of playground, at least a lot of room for Avery's Hunter's Fury to tag a lot or just do a lot of damage here.
Yeah. Even for Kinsey, will the third time be a charm? I said the crossfire set up at that area. Nice little piece of utility that's going to really flood Rise, who TPs towards the left of the site. So it looks like we still really want to fight it here on the defense. Hunter Furies comes out on the defense for Avery. Gets a ping on 2 players, even a kill onto Power Pixel. So an opportunity to fight back for WPT. Nice little push by Soto. Fake flash pushing forward with the headshot there onto Kesey.
One enemy remaining.
Avery now tying it up on a 1v1. Trades have been perfect so far. As man, Christine, we are definitely having a treat for a series so far between WPT and EG.
We absolutely are, because I mean, you know, Soto had a little bit of a slow start. They were struggling a little bit towards A. No one was really coming to their site, and sometimes rotating, it could be a pickle, but this time around, just styling here, and I wish we got that flash on the replay as well. Clever as can be, but
yeah,
you know, we talked about that Hunter Spirit coming through. That was a lot of damage coming out for Avery. They had enough information to make that rotate happen, so good on the defense. And now, I mean, coming into this round as well, WPT, they've got the Killjoy ultimate to work with as well for this defense.
And that's what's been very important for Wingman Patrol the last round and this round over. When we had the Hunter's Fury for Avery, we also didn't have enough economy for Avery to get an owl drone in the previous round, nor this round. Nor this round, rather. And they tried to go for some sort of information, paranoia with a recon dart. And that's even less utility now for the later Seaside hold.
Yeah, right now, Rise has got to be wondering if she's got to play retake or not. Takes a little jiggle. And actually, re-clearing this garage will be so much info for WPT. You can see that Bunny Bee, they're all alone towards the safe site. So eventually, they're going to have to decide, do they just retake and play off of Starry Bun's ultimate, who Lori can break, or do they fight for A site? They're deciding to fight.
Yeah. Again, back in the site, back to fight. Bulldog through the smoke, headshot on the Power Pixel, and an ult comes out. Now pushing in EG as the spike falls down. Soto with the triple kill. Definitely waking up in this game. As it leads Starbun instantly on a 4 versus 1 clutch attempt. Spike out in the open. Nowhere near for Starbound to be able to move in to grab. Recon Dart, though, will give them an opportunity to catch the players off guard, including Avery to start. 2 players are low. The heal comes out at least from Soto. And now with 10 seconds left, you know this is a done deal. So Women Patrol, they're going to be able to save this round to make it a 5-5 scoreline. But at least for EG, they save the up.
And that's so huge. That's so huge. They'll be able to at least go into this round, slowing the round down once again in the hands of Keen C. Potentially look for a front B pick this time around. EG haven't really touched B at all this attack side. Not a single time. So we'll see if this changes in this round. But you gotta love that play coming out for Starry Bun as well. It just says, you know what? I dare you to come into my site. My ultimate is down backside. Lori, if you want to pop it, you're gonna have to do damage to your own teammates as well. So a solid defensive hold coming out here for WPT.
This is what I want to see, Potter. Some op action again, but the owl drone is just gonna foil the plans.
Silva's ruined the game.
Yeah, I know. Delete that character right now. But owl drone still comes out on the defense, though. Speaking of the owl drones, and that's trying to get a ping out, and it works out for this pick onto Thea. couple players might get locked out here. No, we're going to be able to make it away. Nonetheless, though, open sight to allow EG to at least come back in and get the plant.
Yeah, but they're okay with that. WPT Bunny Bee's got the ult on her back. You can see that she wants to come up close and she's going in.
No satchels, though, so that's going to be difficult to move up and scale up, but the beanie and even the weapons are sticking out, allowing Bunny Bee to even get 2 kills in the process.
So much damage.
Even Pain Shell's flushing out Power Pixel as 2 more players only land for EG on this full plan. Tap on a spike. You hear ops ringing left and right. And Bunny Bee's chasing down for that ace. The defuse still gonna come in. But looks like Kinsey once again wants to foil that party, not allowing Bunny Bee. It was close, but no cigar for the ace.
Man, Bunny Bee just had one of those rounds where you could just do no wrong. Just dancing around, starting off towards top of that C site, but feeling confident and so capable as well. And that's the power of Raze, right? Especially on the defense side. You start feeling yourself, you start getting some multi-kills, and your paint shell refreshes, and that's your go button right there. And Bunny Bee absolutely delivers.
And now with the last round of the first half, EG's trying to change the pace. Same for Wingman Patrol as they're trying to push out towards the garage. And this time the ops in the hands of Starbound. So a nice early kill, a dash already inside the A site. It's only a 2v1 out here.
Good timing for Rise. Another hero opportunity.
The smoke, the TP out, not gonna happen. And they're dropping the spike too, because Thea could actually just get the spike if they wanted to and climb towards the C site. But instead it's a op, or should I say an ult rather, towards the spawn to pick up the spike and plant at the A site. So that's a nice little shift there from EG for the last round.
Yeah, but they're gonna dive. They're not gonna even wait for this retake, I don't think. Ooh, WPT, you can see some miscommunication coming through. Unlucky for that to happen at that moment, but Lori is gonna rip the ult as an info play at this point. And I mean, it's 5 versus 1 in the last round. Starry Bun's gotta be even more than a hero.
And doesn't look in the right corner. So at the end of the day, we have a 6-6 scoreline though to start off this series, and we have been really working the map. We talked about the quote-unquote vanilla style, the vanilla gameplay that we might see here from these compositions that are coming out from both of these teams. But as Starman has mentioned in that interview that she's given to us before we got into this game, they've played against each other long enough here that they would understand these tendencies moving forward left and right. You saw that triple push against Rise. You saw Rise try to get away. But in the end, it's a clean slate in the second half.
Both teams feeling very comfortable, as you can see. Coming into the second half, you see that EG, they do not want to lose this C site. Fighters and Kinsey completely set up to capitalize off this fault line. That was something that WPT were missing on that defense side, was being able to get on any sort of line that they choose with that fault line timing. But somehow, some way, WPT, they've read it. They've read that they don't want to mess with that C side, and they're choosing right here.
The only thing you have here on this A side is the jiggle peek coming out from Lori. Spots the players, falls back, and now it's time for EG. Comfortable with playing the retake this time over.
Comfortable for sure, and you can see that the protocol involves 2 players flanking, but time is going to be ticking, and
yeah,
this full-on retake on a pistol can be so difficult. Check Starry Bun's positioning out.
Yeah,
Fully
agree.
in the corner, turret to help as well.
It's been so
They've
slow.
gotta wait.
EG had to clear every single corner, so it's taking a little bit more time than anticipated. Now the paranoia comes out, the dash away, Starbun with the kill at least. But their players are slowly falling down here on the post-plant situation. The Rise pushes out.
Boy.
It's trade-off after trade-off, but in the end, it's EG winning the trade-offs. And the lead now comes in for the defender half of the Evil Geniuses.
You can see Thea being a great teammate, just passing that spike over to Starbound. Already 3 on the board for themselves. And the possibilities in that round certainly there for WPT. A strong post plan, but EG's retake protocol is just too strong. And like we talked about, that fault line that was missing for WPT's defense. Power Pixel gets a huge fault line across on that retake. So much value in that one. This is a very, very invested round coming through here for WPT.
Yeah. Marshall, lots of sheriffs. Okay to go for a half armor buy pretty much should they lose this round over against EG. But with this and a map like Haven, you could play the range to your favor, but Thea does not have that weapon in her own favor. Maybe it was looking to TP away, but Starbound decides to peek out instead. It turns out to be an even trade though. And Thea's stuck, forced to throw an early smoke, which will then allow here Wingman Patrol to work back towards the A side.
Yeah, an even trade is certainly definitely not what you want if you're the defenders. Lori all alone at the A site. Sotos might find an insane timing.
Fine death.
Oh, but unfortunately it's only a Marshall and a recon dart on the ground. Still Kinsey's there for the rescue, for the trade in the end. It would have been even funnier if that dart even hit the foot. Just to get the ping
Just
in the
stuck
kill.
on the foot. Has
Yep.
that ever happened to you, Vance?
Arrow to the knee all the time.
All the time. Just moth to a flame, huh?
Exactly. I never run away from it. I just run towards it.
Rise unable to finish out any sort of one tap. So again, the possibilities were there. Things got a little bit dangerous, but trade's not coming through there for WPT. And for EG, all things considered, 2 very solid rounds here.
Yeah.
It was
At
close.
least they got that
Vance.
kill. They got that
It
kill.
was
They got the
close.
kill still, right? That's going to keep the Spectres now in the hands of EG this time around. No upgrades coming out either for the bonus that we have for the Evil Geniuses. Meanwhile, though, we talked about these half buys that Wingman Patrol are comfortable on doing and using. So we have a change of pace. 5 players now pushing out towards the long A side, but there's 4 players from EG holding the site.
God, they're making so much noise. That fault line gets 3 members, but the Angel's gonna flood out everything.
Nobody breaking darts, but still, it doesn't matter when Lori's there! 3 kills with the Sheriff, started by the last player remaining. The one that had to watch the flank is the one that has to clutch now. Unfortunately, only 1 kill to her name as she falls to the hands of Kinsey. And EG is looking much stronger now on the defender side, rather.
Oh wow, that was like a hard read type of play and a bit of a gamble, a huge gamble if you're WPT for sure, and it just doesn't pay off. I mean, certainly they must have felt like the defenders, because they're on bonus, because pistol round, we saw them stacking towards C, that there would probably be some sort of a mid push, maybe a C stack. But man, that was so much noise to just give their hand in the beginning of the round. I believe 4 or maybe even all 5 members just W King down long A. So you saw 4 members, 4 defenders just planted their ground. They just stayed there. I like this change for Bunny B. Now that they're going to hear this Killjoy turret up towards front B, it's just going to change up how they approach this attack side from here on out in this round. Bunny B is going to want to take care of it. You can see Soto just maintaining that A main control a little bit.
Difficult
Maybe a
thing right
Molly
now,
lineup?
though. Yeah, there's potential Molly lineup, but the thing that's difficult here,
Oh no!
it misses.
Unlucky.
So Women Patrol, yeah, they're running this sort of default, but the thing is they're doing this with sheriffs and marshals, so maybe giving a little too much out of their strat book with potential rounds where they'll have the Vandals to work with. Nonetheless, thankfully, the only thing that they heard for EG was a Nanostorm that missed towards that B site. Now Wingman Patrol activates for a C site push. Still too good here for EG. I mean, they got rifles against the Marshals pushing through. Bunny Bee's trying to even up the tally at least for 2 kills. A body shot and a half. Not even needed. It's a headshot instead. Bunny Bee now, long range. Vandal picked up. It's a 1v1. Satchel's in with 20 seconds left. Fake TP.
Just
Made it towards the
sniffing it out.
side, yeah.
She's got a feeling, Vance.
Got a feeling, but it's a wrong feeling so far. Thea repositioned back towards the garage window. Tap on the spike, the jiggle out. Now you're looking for the position back in the site. A tap once again. There's no time left. You have to hunt it through. Overplayed, overcooked, unfortunately. And Thea's the one that keeps it cool. EG now at 10.
Oh, overcooked indeed. And I don't even blame Bunny there. I was starting to get
100%.
paranoid after I heard that TP noise, right? When you start to hear an Omen TP, you start to think, where the hell is she? So Bunny B chooses wrong, thinks that the Omen made a huge play and TP'd back plat. But man, a lot of opportunities coming through for WPT there, and that was an unhealthy buy. I mean, things just got really out of hand for EG, but a great recovery once again.
A great recovery that now forces out a timeout from Wingman Patrol. The second one, the last one that's available here for their attack half or even for the map. What do you do at this point here? EG's been working that map so well now. And it almost seems that now that they've woken up and warmed up here for EG, they've been winning these duels too.
For sure, for sure. And not only that, but EG's got all these great retake protocols, so they feel real confident finishing out this defense half. But if you're WTPT, I mean, if you're Starry Bun, you're telling your squad, hey, listen, guys, I got this Molly, or I'll take care of the KJ util. Y'all just slow it down and give me some info. Something along these lines, because last round, it was great, right? That just that front B pressure draws those defenders and gives that timing, gives just that split second that you need to be able to get a little bit of pressure towards elsewhere on the map. So we'll see what kind of communications came through in that pause. We'll see what WPT decides to do, but a little bit of a slower pace, and it does look like WPT want to go sniffing towards this mid again.
Yeah, you're right. Playing in that mid take allowed for them to almost win this thrifty, but this time around, sniffing for that middle, they might meet the crosshairs of Kinsey once again with this operate on the top B. With 1:17 left on the clock, the first dog comes out here combined with the Aldrone, so we know now Sky and Sova on either ends. The push still towards the middle. This hasn't been activated yet until this peak.
Ooh.
And Avery falls.
So patient, Kinsey. So patient. Full trust in their A players there as well. And that Aldrone that you talked about, Vans, gave so much info. Now, though, a regroup towards A. A site is fairly weak here as well. If one of these players goes down, it'll be tough.
But this utility is just too good to keep them back. Lori's playing all the way in back of hell. The flash affects them for a bit, but now that they're not blinding anymore, EG are still holding the site.
30 seconds
Player disadvantage, and now finally Kinsey decides to fall back and give a chance here for the teammates to rotate over. Spike down. Starbound looking to move in. Nice little fault line to allow for them to push out and get the pick off onto Soto. Rise, last player standing. Trying to isolate these fights.
Wow.
Was able to do so, but couldn't win it against Starbound, and that allows EG to add another defuse to the tallies here and take the lead by 5.
Beautiful. Beautiful utility coming through here for Power Pixel. And they've been doing it all game long, all half long really as well, especially in the second, but this arm out, fully able and willing to support, but Kinsey finding those openings, it just makes it so tough if you're WPT.
Yeah. It is difficult seeing how the rounds have been unraveling here on the defense. Fast hits, slow hits, defaults. Nothing's really working here for the attack, and now they have to really start digging deep into strap up, but also in their pockets. A Guardian only available for Rise, half buys or half shields for a couple of the players.
Ooh.
At least a change of pace to go towards Garage early.
Yeah, but if WPT is using a dog that far back, Kinsey is absolutely in the back of their minds right now. That doesn't bode well going into this half, but at least Bunny B does find some ground, does find some space. They are in a ratty position here.
Yeah, answering back as the Seekers come out. But unfortunately with the paranoia, no kills coming in. Double satchel potential, fully blinded, rocket onto the ground.
Boy.
Blades are coming out, but all is denied for EG. At least there's a Hunter's Fury that gets one for her troubles. But the plant will still come down for Wingman Patrol. And Lori has to try to win a 4 versus 1.
Yeah, it's gonna be asking a lot. I wonder what happened there. I wonder if Lori was just late to the trigger, or if her teammates were just too early taking that fight. But if that Hunter's Fury came through even just 2 seconds earlier, those duels, okay, those duels would look differently for EG there. So
yeah,
hopefully we see some sort of replay on that. But man, EG, I love how fearless they're looking regardless. I mean, that ride or die flooding onto that C site, that was their plan the whole time. It didn't come through, but
yeah,
the possibilities were there.
I mean, that's sometimes what Valorant is, right? You're looking at how You're setting up towards the side. They got 3 players there. Everything's perfectly read. Thea's in a great position, and suddenly Seeker's out. And it was like, oh, well, there goes our plan. So that maybe should have been checked at some point, too, on how they wanted to hold that defense versus what was available here for the attacker side. This time, yeah, it's a double satchel in, and already the turret down and a garage open.
I love it. I love this split. That is huge info that the Omen ult gives for Bunny B to be able to just quickly entry. This should be a C post plant for WPT and a quick change of pace. I mean, this is exactly what you need to kind of just get yourself back into this half. PowerPixel's utility has been so good, though, and they find an opening.
Yeah.
4v4 equalizer.
And that instant kill activates instantly a lockdown.
Oh,
Trying
boy.
to flash through and fight through it so we could stop the lockdown, but that will now give the advantage for EG to start pushing forward back towards the site. Thankfully, though, Rise is still alive. Nanostorms is still on the spike. A recon dart pings 2 players. Fault line at least on the defense to try to slow down these peaks coming out from WPT. A tap on the spike. A fight coming from behind. A Hunter's Fury on the attack, too, as PowerPixel's trying to push down.
No.
Trying to get that second one. Where's the swing? Where's the Hellstorm? But gets the kill, but the defuse still comes in for EG in the end. And no money, at least, as all 5 players fall down for Wingman Patrol. I was gonna say no money, but there's probably still some money here with the spike plant that they have down.
Man, that is so unfortunate for WPT, but man, EG just have such presence in the server right now. Keen C was all alone on that flank, but you saw in this post plant, Keen C drew 2 or 3 members back towards themselves, towards that long C, and just quickly knife out, runs back towards garage, and rendezvous back up with their teammates. So that sort of presence on the map is certainly kind of mind-boggling WPT, but once again, Bunny B wants this garage control. Now, they haven't been able to convert really anything off it, but just, that's confident. Okay, good job, Starry Bun.
That's very
able
confident.
to punish that, yeah.
Still have to go through 4 more players here for for Wingman Patrol. The ult to try to get information from EG, so that already identifies now the rotate towards the C site. But the players are so far away. There's only 2 players anchored now for EG, and even 1 player that can't even escape. And Thea gets picked off there by Soto.
Honeybee and Soto, just this duo action just coming through and finding openings once again. This time, Vance.
Right there.
This time, this should be a post plan for WPT. I can't jinx it. Oh.
Clean.
Lori's talking to her team about, what happened, what went wrong, what can we do
She was actually
better.
looking at the leaves falling down from the tree,
Stuff like that. Normal team communications. No big deal.
But yeah, you mentioned it. It's a guaranteed round for Wingman Patrol. Trying to do some econ damage. So is even looking to fight to try to stop Lori towards the spawn. It doesn't work out for a trade, as they needed to keep these weapons for EG. As Wingman Patrol, they're doing a great job so far. They finally broken the bank as now Starbound is found. They won't.
Okay.
It was starting to get expensive for the attackers too.
Yeah, this is the dangerous point in this half, especially when you're on 12. You want to be able to try to catch your breath and play just as normally as possible, right?
Yeah.
Certainly, as things get closer and the pressure starts stacking up, you want to be able to remain consistent. So coming to this, you see that those guns would have certainly helped EG, Stinger and Judge in hand, but for PowerPixel, it's not really that big a deal. Ultimate in their back pocket, and PowerPixel, as we mentioned before, has been just doing a fantastic job on the support. EG, they decide they just want to play full retake.
They got the Rolling Thunder for it, so they're okay. An opportunity even for Laura to set up for smokes towards the back of the A site, a recon dart rather towards the back of the A site. They try to spam through the smoke. There's the timing on 2, and there's a kill on 1. Beautifully done.
So much damage.
Even we saw the nanostorms coming out from Starbound to even support and do that damage of the Bunny Bee towards Hell. And that's going to add a lot of value to this Rolling Thunder. Wingman Patrol identifies that, trying to play off the site, but Bunny Bee was caught still within. Taken down now, advantage out for EG to close out the map. Rise, Saribun and Avery. Close find situation outside of the site. The spray comes in for the first kill. The trades comes out for EG, though, as Rise now has to clutch a 3 versus 1. And there's a smoke that's a little too late. It's at halfway. No kills coming through. The defuse in comes in for EG. Unfortunate there, but nice dancing around for PowerPixel to allow EG to close the first map 13-8.
I'm telling you, Vans, I'm telling you, PowerPixel is smooth, and you love players like that, right? It's very hard to be a superstar player when you're support, but when you're making moves like PowerPixel's doing, definitely are a superstar in my book. So beautiful utility. You saw those fault lines consistently getting value for the side of EG's things, and I think especially for Soto having a little bit of a slower start, but having those hero moments, there were definitely opportunities here through and through for the whole game on Haven here.
Definitely. It took a bit there for EG to wake up, but when they did, it really looked like it was one-sided there for the evil geniuses. But at least that's something that we know from Xset back in the day. Usually they have slow starts on the first map, and they always fight very well to see a 3-map series, and we hope to see that. But we'll have to take a break first, of course. So the Analyst Desk will break down the first map coming right after this, and we'll continue our series.